Hello. In this video, I will be telling you about the media assignment, which you will work on over the next few weeks of the course. As a first step in this media assignment, you will be asked to find a media article published in the popular press that reports on a specific research claim. Once you have found that claim, you will be asked to share that claim with your classmates by posting it on a discussion board. After you've posted your claim, you will be able to view the media claims posted by your classmates. Using the instructions provided on Quarkus, you will then pick several of your classmates' claims to evaluate and discuss. Specifically, you will be asked to use information that will appear later in this video to evaluate what your expectations are about that claim and what types of evidence you would expect given the claim. Later, in a few weeks, you and your classmates will then compare your expectations with the actual evidence for which the claim was based in order to assess the validity of that claim. Don't worry about this last step quite yet, though. This week and next week, we're going to focus our efforts on helping you find and share a media claim and helping you discuss your expectations about those claims. Let's start with the first step. I have posted a worksheet on Quarkus that will help you find a media article for the assignment. Follow the instructions in that worksheet to find a media article that makes a frequency, association, or causal claim. You want to focus on finding a media article published in the popular press. Do not try to find a journal article. Finding and reading a published research article is not the goal of this assignment. Instead, the goal is to interrogate how research is talked about and presented in the popular press. With that said, the media article that you find does have to focus on an actual research claim. It can't focus on a generic theoretical claim or some kind of opinion-based claim. Make sure that the article that you pick is focused on reporting the methods and results from an actual research study conducted by a specific researcher or group of researchers. You can use the worksheet posted on Quarkus to double check that the article you have found meets these requirements. I've also provided suggestions on where you can go online to find media articles that focus on research related to psychology, mental health, and neuroscience. Once you have found a media article that meets the requirements, follow the worksheet instructions to post the media claim on the media discussion board. Make sure to follow the instructions provided on Quarkus to ensure that you are completing the assignment correctly and that you are doing so on time. Because this is a discussion-based activity, we are going to have to be relatively strict about the deadlines for this set of assignments. Otherwise, you won't have the information that you need in order to move on to the second and third parts of the assignment in a timely manner. Finally, once you have posted the media claim on the discussion board, you will be able to read the media claims posted by your classmates. For the second part of the media assignment, you will read through these claims and discuss what your expectations are based on the headlines. The rest of this video walks you through the types of questions I want you to ask as you are assessing your expectations about the media claims, including questions about what the claim is implying about the likely population of interest, which, as you may recall, refers to who the claim is about, the likely constructs of interest, so what are the key topics of consideration, or what's likely to be measured or manipulated within the study. Is the claim making a frequency, an association, or a causal claim? And if it's a causal claim, what is the likely independent and dependent variable? And given the weight of the claim, what types of data or evidence would you need in order to support this claim? Remembering that the stronger the claim, the stronger the weight of the evidence needs to be. To give us some examples to work with, we're going to be evaluating some actual headlines in the media, including headlines like "Sugar Rush to Prison," "Study says lots of candy could lead to violence," "Teenage sex leads to bad moods in later life," "Lack of sleep may shrink your brain," "Sugar makes you stupid, but omega-3s will smarten you back up," "Cell phone use may be causing young adults to grow horns on skulls," "Cannabis can cure cancer," and "Social media is messing with your teen's mental health." So the first question is, who is the claim about? Look at these headlines again and Ask yourself, what is the implied population of each of these headlines? Go ahead and pause the video to give yourself time to do this task. And then when we come back, we'll go ahead and look at who's the implied population of each of these headlines. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to ask who each of these claims is about. So as we go through each of these, we can say, for example, sugar rush to prison. Study says lots of candy could lead to violence. So presumably, based on this headline, we might expect the population of interest to say be prisoners. Lack of sleep may shrink your brain. So this headline is designed to appeal to whoever's reading the headline. So this is what we might call a universal claim, a claim designed to address a wide assortment of people. Teenage sex leads to bad moods in later life. So here we might assume that the population of interest is teenagers. Cell phone use may be causing young adults to grow horns on skulls. So again, here we see that the population of interest is young adults. Sugar makes you stupid, but omega-3s will smarten you back up. So again, this you suggests some kind of universal claim or a claim about who the reader of that particular magazine might be. Cannabis can cure cancer. So presumably this claim is about people who have cancer. And then, is social media messing with your teens' mental health? So considering that it's saying your teens, perhaps the implied population is teens of whatever sort of group of parents might be reading these articles on the psych.com website. We can next ask, what is the claim about? So again, we're going to come back to our headlines. Go ahead and pause the video if you need time to do so, and consider what types of constructs are being addressed with each of these claims. When you're ready, go ahead and press pause for us to discuss the answers. Ready? Great. Okay, so here we see sugar rush to prison. Study says lots of candy could lead to violence. So if we're thinking about what type of study might be conducted in order to provide support for this claim, we would expect that the study would include some kind of measurement or manipulation of candy use, as well as some kind of measurement of the outcome of violence. Lack of sleep may shrink your brain. So again, we would expect that this study would somehow measure or manipulate sleep in order to examine its impact on the brain. Teenage sex leads to bad moods in later life, but we might expect that this study would again measure or manipulate sex and then measure bad moods to see the impact. Cell phone use may be causing young adults to grow horns on skulls. So again, we would expect that the study would investigate the question of cell phone use as well as horns on skulls, whatever that means. Sugar makes you stupid, but omega-3s will smarten you back up. So right away, I'm skeptical, because what do we mean by the words stupid and smarten? I can assure you that scientists do not use the word stupid. For one thing, it's very ableist, and for another, it is a very, very poorly defined construct. So one of the things that we would want to ask is, how exactly are these variables being considered in the study? And does that match up with this very bold claim that sugar makes you stupid? Cannabis can cure cancer. So again, a very strong claim. We would expect that the study would address both cannabis use as well as some kind of change in cancer rates or cancer cells or cancer diagnosis. So again, lots of questions are left unanswered here as to what exactly they mean by cancer, what type of cancer, etc. Is social media messing with your teen's mental health? So here again, we might expect that this study would look at social media as well as mental health. Our next question is, what causes what? So we've identified our variables, and now we want to ask the question, is the claim making some kind of assumption that one of those variables is causing the other? So first of all, let's go ahead and address the question, are these causal claims?
You may recall that a causal claim is different than an association claim in that a causal claim uses stronger language that suggests that there is a cause and effect relationship. So for this activity, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and see if you can identify each of the causal terms that's being used in these headlines. And then when you're ready, press play to assess how well you did. Ready? Great. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. So first of all, out of the 7, how many of them are making causal claims? The answer? All of them. They are all making causal claims. You were also asked to identify the causal language that was being used. Let's see how well you did. So leads to, shrinks, leads to, causing, makes, smartens, cures, and messing are all causal terms suggesting that one variable is causing another variable. So what exactly is causing what? Well, in a causal claim, independent variables are thought to cause changes to dependent variables. Independent variables are often abbreviated as IV, so independent variables. In contrast, dependent variables tend to be abbreviated DV for dependent variables. So what are the IVs and DVs in this claim? Again, go ahead and pause the video until you've had a chance to find each of the independent variables and dependent variables, keeping in mind that independent variables cause dependent variables. When you're ready, press play to receive the answers. Ready? Great, let's take a look. Sugar rush to prison? Study says lots of candy could lead to violence. So here, candy could lead to violence. So candy is the independent variable and violence is the dependent variable. Sleep may shrink your brain. Sleep is the independent variable and some kind of change to the brain is the dependent variable. Sex leads to bad moods. So sex is the independent variable and bad moods is the dependent variable. Cell phone use is causing young adults to grow horns on skulls. So cell phone use is the independent variable and the horns on skulls are the dependent variables. Sugar makes you stupid. So independent variable is sugar and stupid, however that's defined, is dependent variable. Omega-3s will smarten you back up. So omega-3s is the independent variable. And then some kind of smarten, so some kind of measure of intelligence, academic capability. Again, however we're defining smarten is the dependent variable. Cannabis can cure cancer, so cannabis use would be the independent variable and some kind of changes to cancer prognosis would be the dependent variable. Social media is messing with your teen's mental health, so here social media is the independent variable and mental health is the dependent variable.